My female 27, best friend, female 27, is getting married in February. She's been planning her wedding for 2 years, and I've been actively helping her the entire time as her maid of honor. I am incredibly excited about her getting married, but she is slightly controlling. She's the kind of girl who has to have everything perfect, or she feels it's completely ruined. But her wedding, her rules. Well, I found out I was pregnant at the beginning of October and am due toward the end of June. This is my first baby, and I've struggled heavily with fertility issues, so this is a literal miracle baby. My husband and I had just given up hope in trying for a little while this past summer. I'll be in my second trimester during the time of her wedding. Well, I told my best friend last week and she seemed upset. She wasn't too happy that I was pregnant, and her first question was if I would fit in my bridesmaid dress. The dress is extremely flowy, and I told her that I should be fine, and if not, I'll cover the cost of any alterations or buying another dress. I bought my own dress in the first place anyways. Like, literally her first question, not even congratulations. I tried to shrug it off and just assume she was stressed. Her bachelorette party's next month. I've been exclusively planning it, so I just reached out with the final details to her to confirm everything. During the phone call, she tried to make me feel bad that I wouldn't be drinking with the rest of them and that it wouldn't be the batch party of her dreams. And I told her it would still be fun. That upset me even more, but I just tried to shrug it off once again. Today she called and told me she had a hard decision to make, but she's been thinking about it. And while she would like to keep me as a maid of honor, she doesn't want me in her pictures. She said that my bump would be too distracting. She didn't want her pictures to turn into a maternity photo shoot, and she just didn't feel comfortable with it. However, she still wanted me to pay for the bachelorette party, help her plan the wedding, and do almost everything maid of honor except be in the pictures. And she was debating if she still wanted me to give a speech. She then sent me a bunch of bag-like dresses to choose from as my new dress, since I won't need my maid of honor dress. We've been best friends since we were 10. I would have never, in my wildest dreams, expected her to act this way. Am I the idiot for dropping out of her wedding? I really don't feel like paying for and being supportive of a person who treats me like a disposable mooch after years of fertility issues. But I also feel like I may be overreacting, as some friends said I would look odd in the pictures. Thoughts? Not the idiot. Hard decision for her, but so dang easy for you, right? A wedding is a blip. Being a mom is for the rest of your life. Congratulations, OP. So happy for you and your husband. But not only would I drop out of the wedding, but I'd drop out of this farce of a friendship. No friend worth having would have responded to your happy news with anything less than genuine excitement for you. Imagine thinking that the presence of a pregnant woman in a photo is turning it into a maternity photo shoot. She seems surprised that pregnant women exist outside of designated maternity-related activities. Modern wedding culture has gotten beyond ridiculous. Although I'm sure her bridezilla brain is in full swing, it's no excuse for her behavior. Bow out gracefully and move on with your life. Photos are a way to preserve an event and revisit the day. She doesn't seem too concerned about you not being in the pictures and memories. This is not a friend. OP, I'm so sorry for how your former bestie is treating you. So you're too pregnant to be in the photos or wear a pretty dress, but you're not too pregnant to do all of her grunt work and pay for stuff. Yeah, no. I'm sorry, but I don't think that there's any coming back from this. But you deserve people who will love and support you. So don't spend another penny on her. Do a maternity shoot in the dress and put the photos everywhere. Update number 1. Am I the idiot for not attending my best friend's wedding? First, thank you for all the wonderful comments, congratulations, and support. I often try to be very level-headed about things, sometimes to the detriment of myself, and I also still wanted to be a part of the day since she is my best friend and we've grown together for so long. I'm someone who values integrity, and I felt like if I dropped out, I'd be betraying a core value of mine. and many people have reached out to me for an update, so here it is. I sat down with her and had a very long and blunt talk. I told her about how deeply her words and actions hurt my feelings. I told her I couldn't understand why I couldn't be a full maid of honor and be included in the pictures. But if I were to be fully honest, she almost convinced me that the whole idea of just keeping me as a maid of honor with no pictures was for my benefit. She told me it was to take the stress off of me for the day and to make sure I didn't feel uncomfortable with my new weight. But I knew it wasn't true. I knew she didn't want me to be in her wedding party with a baby bump, but wanted my money and planning expertise. I've withheld this information, but I am a wedding planner with many connections. However, I wouldn't cut any of them off due to a falling out. I am not planning her wedding, as I felt it would be too much for me, because I wanted to be to a level of perfection I couldn't achieve. But I did hook her up with another incredible planner friend, but she's utilized me for free a lot. I think I realized all too clearly, in almost an instant, that the second she got engaged, that our friendship became a business partnership to her, whereas it never changed for me. So for the past 2 years, I realized what I thought were friendship bonding experiences for me were merely free expenses for her. In the end, I decided to step out of the wedding as maid of honor. I will be sending all the information I have to our joint friend who's in the wedding party, and will still be paying for that friend's portion of the batch party instead of the whole thing, as I know I'll put that friend out of money, which I feel awful about. I was uninvited to the wedding as a whole, which was not expected. My friend was furious and upset with the conversation and said some deeply hurtful things that would take me a long time to recover from. To say I'm devastated is an understatement, as I expected this woman to be my child's godmother. But I feel extremely relieved to have discovered this before the birth of my child. Now my baby's life will be filled with people who love them unconditionally, and the same goes for me. Once again, thank you all. I appreciate your assurances and help more than you'll ever know. Wow, I'm so sorry you went through all of that. She may have been your best friend, but you were not hers. If her picture-perfect wedding is ruined by you having a small baby bump, then she has some screwed up priorities. Also, after the hurtful things said and done to you, I wouldn't forward any info about the bachelorette party. In fact, I would cancel all plans and any room reservations, experiences, or other plans. Let her other friends replan it all on short notice. But I can be petty like that. You're a mom. Also, congrats. Shame this friend who put a damper on the excitement of that. Oh, and if there were anything else that you planned or spent money on, a shower, cancel anything in your name, get deposits back, return gifts, whatever. This girl is not your friend. That bridezilla is more interested in your wallet and connections than she's interested in your friendship and devotion. OP should be so thankful that she found out about her friend like this before she had spent even more time and money on her, and before having the baby. At some point in the future, the ex-friend will realize what a turd she was and regret treating OP like that. But unless she is a better person than she comes across here, she will never come to OP and admit it. But when she gets pregnant, she will know how awful and shallow a friend she was. Chin up, you've lost nothing. Best of luck to you. Update number 2. Am I the idiot for not attending my best friend's wedding? After reading all the comments on my story about how my friend was such a bridezilla, I wanted to clarify. I honestly felt so gaslighted by the bride and her yes-men bridesmaids that my request to be in pictures would ruin her whole wedding that I felt crazy. It was embarrassing to ask my other friends that knew us. This is a very devastating moment in my life, but the reason I'm writing this is not to tell you to believe me, but it's to explain my paying for the entire bachelorette party. I grew up extremely poor and married young, 20. We had dated since 15 because my husband and I were excited to start our lives together and didn't really care about the perfect wedding. To me, weddings are all about feeling and people. We couldn't afford anything, and I planned my entire wedding and only spent the largest bit of money on the photographer. We got married in my BFF's family's backyard. It's huge and gorgeous. My mom's family was kind enough to make all the food, and I did all my flowers, DIY decor, etc. Anyway, this is my long-winded way of saying that I didn't even plan or think about a party for myself, as I was young and couldn't afford it. And I had 3 bridesmaids in college, and we were also all incredibly poor, and I didn't want to make them spend any more money than the dresses for the wedding. My now ex-BFF surprised me with a fully paid trip for me and all of my bridesmaids to my perfect bachelorette party. Thinking about it now still brings me tears, and I had no idea she would do it. Obviously, her family paid for it, as she grew up very wealthy, but the gesture still touches me so deeply. I promised her I would do the same thing when she got married. I loved planning my own wedding so much, I changed my college major to event planning and management, and I now plan weddings for a career, and I love it. And I do pretty well. I could luckily afford to pay for the entire trip for my BFF's batch party, like I promised her I would, minus everyone's travel. I'm not paying for 6 plane tickets, but I'll absolutely pay for a 3-day stay. It was my gift to her, as she had gifted me years ago. Anyway, when I told her I wouldn't be a maid of honor unless I was in the pictures, she kicked me out of her wedding, and we haven't spoken since. So to me, our friendship is over, and I don't know if there's anything that could be said or done to restore it. So I don't know if you would call it graceful, but I can confidently say that I'm no longer her friend. Sorry for the long-winded story. Hope this clarifies that for you. LP, thank you for the update. I sometimes forget people are not like me and can't just cut people off. If you still have the dress, you should take a picture of yourself on the day of the wedding, then post it so your ex-friend can see how she threw away your friendship over a baby bump you can't see. I'm so sorry that your good memories were tarnished in this way. I hope when the pain eases, they can stay gold. My husband has a niece, Mara, teen. Mara's very talented, and she knows it, but she's extremely smug about it. My husband's family just can't shut up about it. Every time we're with his family, they keep talking about her. Did you hear Mara has started the violin as well? Or Mara learned another language. She can speak 4 languages now. Isn't that awesome? Like, okay, I get it. She's talented, but we are hearing about it all the time, and it's exhausting. On Christmas Day, everyone was talking, and of course, everyone started to talk about Mara's baseball team winning a game and how amazing Mara was in that game. I thought it was unfair to the rest of the kids, so I changed the conversation. I told them that my daughter's shown a lot of interest in chemistry lately, and her teacher thinks she's really good at it. They all said some things like, "Well done, really good," and then went back to Mara. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I told them they needed to stop talking about Mara for a second and think about the other kids as well. And Mara is not as amazing and as special as they think. My sister-in-law called me an idiot, and my husband thinks I shouldn't have said that, but I just couldn't sit there and say nothing. Am I the idiot? Oh, geez. I'm feeling some actual secondhand embarrassment for you. You are the idiot for saying that in front of Mara. There was a way to discreetly mention this to other family members without putting Mara down, pulling them aside and saying that while you are very proud and admirative of Mara's success and want to continue celebrating her achievements, it would be nice to prop the other kids' smaller achievements too, so they don't feel less than her. I have a feeling other kids means her kids. This has nothing to do with fairness. It's about her own ego and internal competitiveness. Poor Mara's just out there being fabulous and probably just generally more interesting because it sounds like she's older. OP outwardly stated her jealousy of an actual child, all while insulting her to her face. Real gross coming from an adult in the room. Everyone's the idiot here. Sorry. As one of the female cousins that got consistently graded against Mara, I no longer talk to too many of my family members, including her. As kids, we got along okay, but she eventually became exactly like my harpy aunts. Guess what? We both got married, had kids, and have lived relatively similar trajectories. In the end, it wasn't that she was awesome at things, it was that everyone else's special things were ignored. My ex-husband, who I'll call by a fake name, Tony, and I broke up 2 years ago after 26 years of marriage. We have 4 children together. Due to the stupidity of the time and social pressure, I added my husband's last name to my name, so all my documents like identification, driver's license, passport, all credit cards, and voter registration card have his last name at the end. We ended amicably, even more due to the circumstances. He's gay, and we divorced. Honestly, it would suck to have to change everything, go to government agencies, pay for everything new, and go to the bank to change everything. So I didn't want to take out his last name. But I introduced myself by my maiden name. Only in the documents is this name. Tony's currently engaged to a guy, and they'll get married next year. The situation that happened was, our son and his family decided to travel and invited me. He asked for my ID to make the reservations. A few days later, me, Tony, and fiance were at my grandson's party. Our son said jokingly in the conversation circle that he couldn't believe until today that I hadn't changed my last name. I had laughed, saying that I was too lazy to rush to change everything that had his name on it. Tony started to ask if I really hadn't changed my name, that if I didn't think being engaged to someone else wasn't the best time to change it, and he insisted that it was weird of me. I just replied, unless you can go in my place, spend hours and hours in lines, and pay hundreds for it, I won't do it in the near future. We stopped talking and the party flowed smoothly. Later he called me and said I was acting weird and a jerk by refusing to change the name, which he said was uncomfortable. I asked our son and he said he understands my side of not wanting to do this, but he understands Tony's side of being uncomfortable with his ex still using his last name after the divorce. So I'm asking for an outside opinion. Am I the idiot? It's not like I never planned to change it. I just don't want to go through it right now. If having his ex share a last name with him bothers him that much, then maybe he should take his fiance's name after they marry. You're not the idiot, OP. And after 26 years and 4 children, this is your legal name as much as it is his. Totally agree with this. Don't let anyone pressure you or make you feel guilty about this. It's absurd. You were married to the guy for 2.5 decades and have 4 children together. It's already a pain to change the name without all of those things. Good grief, of all the things to be mad about. It is normal to not change their last name after a divorce. I know women who have gotten remarried and didn't change their name, even then because they wanted to have the same name as their children. And Tony is an idiot. The name change is part of the final divorce decree, so then was the time for him to speak up if he wasn't comfortable with OP keeping the name. No one gets to tell you when or why to change now.